Yes. I want to unblur. Yes. Oh, people in the waiting room, let's let them in, let them in. Okay. Good morning, good morning. Oh, Connor's coming in too. Let me let Connor in, then I'll share screen. Get us up and going because on Tuesdays we have less time because the business meeting. So want to make sure. Okay, hold on. Instructor. Working with Mets, we're here. Take me to Matt's coming in. Okay, see people coming on board. Yay, look at this. Got some people here in person too. Everybody's so quiet. Is everybody okay? It's not Monday, it's Tuesday. It is. Good morning to all the Zoomers this morning. We've got Autumn, we've got Connor, we've got Ryan, we've got Matt. Good morning, good morning. All right, so we're gonna get started. Remember, if you can and you're on Zoom, I want you on camera. I like to see your face if at all possible, because I get to see these lovely faces here in person. So want to make sure that we're participating and getting the most out of this. So last week, what did we talk about last week? What was last week's topic? Database. Well, this is database part 2. So we can never talk enough about database because it's that important.
It finally clicked last week in the brain and was like, yes, I know.
Finally, what actually clicked?
Well, I know for me, it's kind of repeated 1,000 times, but I think the 1,001 clicked. It was just like, okay, I just want to like make it this big thing, and then that's why I'm not doing it. And because of just simple Serenity. And so I just like made some notes, and like, even if I'm just using their newsletter right now, the free one, that's 12 touches that I don't, it's free.
Yeah.
And you know, and then the quarterly calls and just simple things. And I was just overthinking it all because I wanted it to be something extravagant that isn't.
Well, remember, you all are in building mode. You don't get the full deluxe version of your business on day 1 or day 100. And you have to start, think of it as building blocks. And so you got to start putting the blocks or the bricks in place so that you can build this foundation. And it doesn't happen overnight. And Serenity, you are so right. Too many times I find new agents overthinking it and wanting it to be hard and complicated and all of this. And it doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be, because you got to just get started. That's the most important thing. Just get started. Because it is very easy to have a lot of excuses as to why you don't get started. Mine was, I have to have all my marketing pieces in place and design. I can't go be an agent without all of that. That was an excuse. That was an excuse. You can talk to people without marketing material. But I used it as an excuse. And I made it too complicated because I was saying, I need to do this, I need to do that. The most important thing, because here's the reason why. It's not that, it'd be lovely if you had the time and the luxury to be doing this at your leisure, right? However, for many of you, this has got to put food on the table, and this is 100% commission. So you got to go, learn, go, learn. And that's not always comfortable. So what we're going to be doing is in this session is working with METs. Who can tell me what a MET is? What is the definition of a MET from the MREA book?
At least probably have one contact, a piece of contact, so we've met in person.
Somebody you know that you've met. you may have a long relationship with them, or you might have just met them once. But it is someone, most likely, I tell you, it's these people in your phone. Those are your mets. The other pitfall I find with new agents is you'll say, well, I don't have many people for my database. But what you're doing is you're too narrow. You're only putting the people you know really well instead of everybody. Unless it's somebody who you would never want to do business with, then please, then don't put them in your database. I'm not saying work with people you don't want to. That's the luxury. You get to pick who you're going to work with in this new business. So in this session, we're going to talk about who are METs and what is MET working, not networking, but networking. And then this week, we'll talk about working with METs. Let's let Talon in, referrals through your MET work, and final thoughts and putting it all together. But before we're off and running, whoa, where's my, hold on. Here we go. You know what this is about. You know the routine. Scan, say you're here. This is Working with METs is the name of this course. For those of you at home, please scan, or I've got the bit.ly link down there. You guys have been awesome about signing in. I'm so impressed, and believe me, I do look at the sign-in. So if you're thinking, oh, she won't notice. Yes, I do. This is the way that we can track. Remember, on your 30, 60, 90, one of the things that we have on there for every of those buckets is that you attend training. Launch is a highly participatory program, plus you. And you will only get out of it what you put into it. And we want you to get the most. Okay, everybody all logged in. We'll just keep on a cruising. Okay, ground rules: arrive on time. Be fully present, respect reality of time and participation, respect learning styles, help each other. That's what I love about you guys. I love you guys helping each other, showing each other things. I love that. And we always try to have some fun. So one of the things I want to ask you is, where are you today? We're going to spend a little time on that, because where are you today? How are you feeling about your Legion?
Good.
You feeling good about your Legion, Jeff?
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, I do. I have like 260 in my list. That exercise last week really opened up some thoughts about people I know where I didn't really have them in there. I had to focus like that. I have a sports medicine background, and I mean, I have a million contacts through that. And I just didn't, I don't know, I just skipped it. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And I also signed up with Parker, and so we're working on the newsletter. We're ready to launch.
Love it.
Going out, and then I just hired somebody to handle social media stuff. So
Okay.
it's gonna merge it all and create these accounts and link them together and
Awesome.
help me with some of this stuff that.
That'll give you some base in your presence and everything. I love that. I love where you said, I didn't realize. Also go to your social media, because you might have social media friends that are not in here. Sometimes you'll be missing people. So I would go through all of your friends on social media and again, see who's missing in action, who should be in your database. So you're going to continuously grow this. Anybody else? How do you feel about your Legion? Doug, how do you feel?
Database name, so I don't feel out some of the things that you're saying, like social media, and I do have friends in social media that I can convert with.
Okay, that's good. So you've got some people on social media that you don't have yet in your database. When you're cleaning up your database, though, please don't make that a solo exercise, meaning while you're cleaning it up, you should be reaching out to those people that you're putting in there, you're missing pieces of information. How about those on Zoom? Anybody want to tell me, how do you feel about your Legion activities right now?
It's going great. I just noticed that I have a lot more people that live in Kansas that I didn't know live in Kansas and want to continue to live in Kansas than I do Missouri. So I'm working on getting my Kansas license.
Yeah, that should be a little bit of a motivation.
Yep.
Yay, yes, never wait too long to get the other real estate license, because somebody's gonna say to you, Ryan, maybe tomorrow, hey, Ryan.
Oh, they've
let's
already,
go
it's already in the pipeline, and now I'm like, well, crap. Now I'm
No, that is just high motivation that you're gonna get it done
exactly.
sooner than later. Sometimes we need those little kicks in the pants to keep us going.
I like kicks in
Okay.
the pants. So
Yeah.
Kind of going off of kicks in the pants. I also, well, I'm feeling good about lead gen, but to be honest, there are days where it's discouraging, where you think you're going to get traction and you're not getting as much back as you thought you were going to get. So, I think it's all just about managing expectations and knowing that some days are going to be really good and hot and other days are not going to be as great, but just to be consistent and disciplined, I guess. So anyway, my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, Olgie, that makes 100% sense. It is about, here's where you'll be testing yourself. Can I stay consistent no matter what? And I don't think we as humans are very good at consistency. We're good at procrastinating. We're good at making excuses. We're good at getting busy on other stuff, but consistency is something I believe most of us have to work at. Am I right? I'm not going to say it comes natural to me. I've built up good habits to help me be consistent, and you all have to employ tools to make them consistent. Like Jeff, I loved you saying that you're going to have Parker help you with a newsletter. That will create consistency. And if you can't afford to hire Parker, then she has a free newsletter. It's put out quarterly so that you can have a whole quarter's worth of newsletters. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's an email version. So here we are on our building of our lead gen castle. I was going to say temple, castle, whatever we want to call it. And we are working with Mets. Use them or lose them. So when we talk about here on page 6 of these materials, I'd like somebody to read where it says in the little box there, your Mets. Who would like to read that out loud? I'll call on people. Jody? Thank you.
Your Mets database is a future wealth machine for you. Problem is we think because we are so charming and good looking and we are real estate agents, people will remember us forever, even if we don't talk to them. But the human mind will forget you every 16 days. It is not up to them to remember you. To remember you are a real estate agent. It is up to you to remember them. You are an agent.
Yeah.
To remind them you are, sorry.
No, that's okay. It is not up to them. Too many agents leave it up to their database to remember them because they don't talk to them very often. They don't talk to them in a consistent manner. And when we get into the numbers this week, we're going to get into the numbers of how many Mets do you need in your database to hit your goals? Did you know? We could tell you how many people need to be in your database to hit your goals. The catch is this, though. If you aren't consistently communicating to them, that number means nothing. And so you need to get to where you're communicating on a consistent level with these people so that you can get the return that is possible from them. But what did it say? They forget you what? Every 16 days. They love you, but you're not on their mind all the time, right? Even our loved ones were wondering if they're thinking about us. Did you remember? We talked. Sometimes that happens. So let's talk about who are Mets. Who isn't a Met, really? Serenity already said to us, Mets are the people you know on some level. Mets are those you've met today. Mets are those you've known all your life. You collect their contact information and you feed your database. So your database always has to be fed if you want to grow your business. If you choose not to grow your business, then don't feed your database. Or if you continuously not feed or update your database, your business will come to a screeching halt. Because what kind of model do you want in your business? Do you want a referral only business as you build this? What are you going for? Are you going for a referral only business, or you want to chase strangers your whole career? What do you guys want to do? Yes, you can. You can, and you need to do some stranger work no matter what. Because people in your database will leave your database for things you can't control. People will move, people will die, pass away. People will not choose you and choose someone else. There's a lot of things that can happen to our database, and that's why we have to always be feeding it. The truth is, everybody counts. Everybody counts. I don't want to go there yet. Hold on. Everybody counts. Everyone matters. It's just, here's what will be different when you're working a database. Because you're going to treat some people differently. You're going to be like, Kristen, that's not nice. Well, it's necessary because as you start growing this database, do you think you can pour the same amount of time and attention into everybody? No, you can't. So you do have to treat them differently. And that's why I'm going to highly recommend that you have A, B's, and C's, meaning people, and then you're going to even have A pluses. And we're going to talk about A pluses because A pluses are the people who really help you with your business. We're going to talk about what kind of role they play and how to nurture them. Your Mets, like we said, they're people you've done business with or who you do business or who have done business with you. Just a perfect example from his past life, work life. He has a lot of people to be able to tap into. I will tell you that in my business as a new agent, one of the best resources of business for me was my former place of employment, my former coworkers. Now, it didn't happen immediately. It didn't happen in my first 6 months. But after about 6, 7 months, just one of them said, could you help me buy a house? And then we're off to the races. Because once one of them saw them use me and have a good experience, then the others jumped on board. Same with my daughter's school. Now I'm an alum there and I was on the alumni board, so I was really connected to her school. But once I got one teacher, no, actually it was the director of admissions first, and then a teacher, and then her son and daughter-in-law, and then. So that is, think of it that way. You've got a much bigger world probably than you think. And if you're not from here, then you're going to build your database differently, but it's the same thing. Don't ever feel that just because you're not born and raised here, that you're going to have a harder time making a go in real estate. David is like, yeah, you talking to me? I will tell you, I know people that you would have thought they were born and raised here, they got into real estate, you think, oh my God, that's golden, they know everybody. But they didn't work a consistent business, they didn't build a business, so they never got the impact of the people they knew. So don't be discouraged and think, well, I don't know anybody. Well, then you just go out and meet people. and go do things that get you in front of people and connected to people. That's what's gonna be a difference. Think of Mets as the people you see at the coffee shop all the time. You might not be on first name basis, but you recognize each other. And the barista might recognize your order, say, hey, is it the regular? It may be, parents of, like, school, parents of children that your kids go to school with. I know, we have one agent here, Jill. Does everybody know Jill Hayes? Okay, Jill employs her grandkids to help her with her business. They will go lead generate for her. They'll door knock for her. One of them will even make phone calls. I mean, it's amazing how they'll help her. But she has put a bug in their ear and say, honey, if you hear at school that any of your friends, parents are thinking of moving or buying a house, you tell them you know who their parents need to work with. And she incentivizes them so that if they do whatever she maps out for them, however, I don't know how she does her little earnings system. She took them all to all the grandkids that qualified, she took them to Disney World. Brilliant. Brilliant. So your kids can be, ears to the ground at school and giving you, what if the teacher is pregnant? Maybe they've outgrown their home. I don't know. There's just an opportunity around you and everywhere. Mets will grow over time as you meet potential home buyers and sellers. So also your clients will be now in your database and they will grow. Gene Rivers, Gene Rivers is a master faculty instructor in Keller Williams in an agent. And he says he's built his career around networking for business, seeing people I know at regular social events. So the cultivation of Mets is never ending, never, ever, ever ending. And here's what happens. We meet people and we forget to do anything with their names or their contact information. And then pretty soon they forget us, we forget them. You never built on that opportunity. So there's opportunity around you everywhere. So here are the different types of Mets that we're going to talk about. And so your Mets can be network, allied resources, advocates, and core advocates. We're going to go into all of these in detail, but let's just touch on a network group. Your network group are individuals you know because you have met them either in person or by phone. And who might do business with you, right? That's your biggest, most general pool of Mets. Allied resources. Allied resources is a very select subset of your Met group who are in real estate related fields. Individuals you expect either to do business with or to receive business leads from every year, usually multiple times, will or has done business with you. So who would give me some examples of allied resources?
Other agents?
Other agents? Yes. Who else? Who do you work with in real estate?
Lenders.
Lenders. Ooh, lenders. Do you think lenders give you leads, buyer leads? Yes. But they probably won't unless you ask. Seriously. I made the mistake as a new agent. I have a very, very good lender. She was our in-house lender. I referred as many of my clients as I could to her. So I was feeding her and she never gave me a lead. Now, I could have been resentful. However, I realized, oh, I never asked. I never asked because I didn't know how this worked in the beginning. I didn't know. I just kind of thought, well, maybe someday she'll give me a lead, right? No, she didn't. I can't begrudge her. She gave leads to other agents. And no lender gives all their leads to one agent, so don't be under that illusion at all. They don't. They may have some that are their premier clients, right? Say, what about inspectors? You're thinking, oh, but Kristen, they work with a zillion agents. Yes, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to feed some leads. But you have to ask for it. What about, give you an example, foundation companies. My husband has a foundation company that will give him referrals because they'll go to a property, do a foundation inspection, and the seller or the owner will say, I don't want to fix it, I just want to sell. Well, because he used to flip homes, then that would be a great resource for my husband. That salesperson for the foundation company would give him first dibs on that house to either buy it to flip or talk to the seller to see if he could list that home. Now, do you think that foundation company worked with other agents? Yeah. My husband built such a good relationship with that individual and said, I'm always looking for homes to flip. If you ever, and it became a regular thing. So don't make assumptions too much. We get in here, we get in our heads and we think, oh, no, they already know 10 million agents. I'll never get it. What if you just ask for 1 or 2 referrals a year? Don't be greedy. What about, who else do you use in real estate? What are some others? Contractors, painters. You think people have their house painted before they're gonna sell it? Yeah. Sometimes they do that before even talking to an agent. Okay, so expand. Here's what we're doing with all these exercises is expanding your idea of who would go in your database. Have you all reached out to any of our service providers? Some of them?
Yeah, I reached out to AD May when I was gonna form my community.
Yeah.
And they provided flyers for me.
Perfect. So I would get on our portal, look at our service providers, and I'd be reaching out to them for 2 reasons. One, to build relationships. Because if the first time you're calling them is when you need them right then, and they've never met you or don't know you from Adam, you may not get the priority that you would get if they go, oh, Jeff, of course, we'll do what we need to get out there. Roofers. So you need to build those relationships so you have go-to people that you can call and don't wait until you have your first client to be doing that. And then you can start building that relationship and get to a point that you say, hey, you know, I love referring people to you. Would it be crazy of me to ask that on occasion you'd refer someone to me if you think I'd be a good fit? That's not offensive. How do you think other small businesses build their business? Referrals. Referrals. Angel.
An interesting story in the reverse. Yesterday I was at home after working with clients here. I went home and my neighbor gets moved up. So they have young men called canvassers. So he came to my door, he said, hey, we're working on the roof. I said, yeah, I see that. And we talked for a bit. I said, well, I'm a real estate agent and I have a whole team that we're a real estate agent. And I said, yes. He says, who are you? I said, I'm a business. He says, I'm a couple of weeks away from getting my license. Can I call you when I pull your license? I say, yes, here's my card. And
We'll talk to him even before he's licensed.
and I said, I'll introduce you to the Keller Williams folks. And he says, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he texted me last night that he's a couple weeks away from his license.
That's awesome.
So you can always be.
Yeah. You never know what direction. Hi, Olgie. So that's allied resources, advocates. Who are advocates? They're people who not only have done business with you in the past, will continue to do so in the future, but will actively bring other people to do business with you as well. Advocates, raving fans, cheerleaders, right? Who are your cheerleaders? And when they say past business with you, maybe within a past career. And if they knew what kind of person you were and your work ethic and all of that, then they may have no problem transferring trust to you in this new business. Because they know, hey, she's on top of it. She's good with the details. She's got her checklist, all of that. I would trust her with helping me buy a house. You see how that translates? So your advocates can be like when you're announcing and talking about this new real estate business. Have you been surprised about some of the people who said congratulations and you're going to be great at this? Were there any surprises? Sometimes there are. Some people that you're not that close to may be some of your best advocates. You never know. Don't assume. I always like to tell a story about one of our agents, Veronica Quill. She's been an agent here 7 years, 8 years. When she started, she came from a corporate background. She was in management. And when she started, she sent an announcement to everybody she knew. And even to a past employee that she fired. I was thinking, how would you do that? I don't think there's more fuzzies there. Guess who raised their hand and asked her to help them buy a house? The person that she fired. Now, I think that speaks volumes about her and how she handled that party for someone not to like hate her guts, right? But if she had been like most of us getting in our heads and thinking, oh, I can't send it to her, I fired her, she wouldn't have had that piece of business. So make sure you're not excluding people from your database because you're making decisions for them. That's why I included everybody in the beginning in my database. I couldn't make assumptions how they felt about possibly doing business with me. And I found I had some advocates that I didn't expect. It was a lovely surprise. But sometimes you have cheerleaders that have not been outwardly vocal that you just don't know think a lot of you. So please don't make those decisions for them. Core advocates are not only can and will do business with you, but they are well-placed, owners of a sports team, executives at a large corporation, a builder, and they will send you business. So these are people of influence in the community. So think of, it could be a pastor at a church. Matter of fact, one of the things my husband's done, I want to plant a little seed. You know, you can encourage others to get a referral license and have them refer to you. Think about some of your friends or family or people that you meet who are in a position and have work that they love, but they don't make a lot of money. Think of teachers. They may never want to be a real estate agent, but they're so well connected in their community and everybody, they just know everybody, that they would be excited about making some extra side money. So my husband did that with a pastor. This pastor made in his first year over $10,000 in referral fees by referring to my husband. How brilliant is that? That pastor knew him prior to real estate, felt very confident at referring him to his parishioners who had that need, some of them going through difficult times, losing jobs, going through divorces, and that pastor wanted to make sure they were with an agent who would take good care of them. So that pastor was able to take sabbatical because the $10,000 is a lot of money to a pastor, right? So, and then teachers the same. Think about, my husband and I are trying so hard with our kids. If we could just get them to do the licensing process, we would like each of our kids to have a license because they're at that age where things are happening. Their friends are getting married, they're having babies, friends are having babies, getting job promotions, all of that. We just haven't got them over the hump of, oh yeah, you gotta study and take an exam. We're gonna keep trying though. Because I think if one of them would get their license, then the others would follow suit.
I'll take them.
Yeah. I want to inspire you that, again, do you see how this is not a narrow focus, this job, this career that you have? There's so much more to it and so many other ways to create income and wealth, and referrals are lovely. So those core advocates, who do you know that are leaders or that run a company or a small business? Who do you know is the head of the PTA? Who do you know? All of those things, different, like, Jeff, are you in like a tennis league then? Okay. One of our agents here loves pickleball. He does his networking, almost all of it through pickleball. Because in pickleball, I'm assuming in tennis, you could probably do, you can do like a round robin and play with people. They'll pair you with people you don't know. On purpose. Angel. Golf. Yeah, playing golf. So I want, again, we're just trying to stretch you all to see there's a great big wide world of Legion and Mets and making contacts. And because a lot of times we would just stay too narrow. Or you think bigger and bigger and bigger. Because if you work those core advocates, think of how they can help you. So get involved, join organizations. Now you might have heard me say this before, only join them if you're passionate about them already. I hear too many people say, I'm gonna join the chamber. And then they just go to the coffees and they say, well, I didn't get anything from it. I handed out so many cards and I never got anything from it. Well, did you follow up? Did you ask those people to meet one-on-one to learn more about their business and build a relationship? Oh, no. We've got to always take it a step further, but also do it because you're passionate about it. If you're passionate about your community and being on the chamber and being connected to other businesses and small businesses, then do it, but do it at a high level. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Does that make sense? So if you're passionate about a nonprofit, well, do it. It gets you with people. And they have the same passion as you do. There's already that connection. So that's a win already in the connection column, right? You already have similar likes. Be approachable. Oh, I didn't put it on. Usually, you know, I have my name tag on, right? 9 times out of 10, I've got my name tag on. That's because I'm not the person at the grocery store who's gonna turn around and talk to you in line. Say, what you got? But if you talk to me, I am gonna talk to you. And usually this opens up a conversation, or can. So that helps me because although, I'm an introvert who can be an extrovert in certain circumstances. Right? Anybody else like me? If I'm in my natural habitat, like here, very outgoing. You put me somewhere else, that's why if I go to a party or something, that's why I like to have something to do. Like when we have, has anybody ever noticed what I do at parties and happy hours and stuff for the office? Do you know what I do? I take all the pictures. I want something to do. It's not that I won't talk to people. It's just I am best if I have something that I have to do. It'll make me mingle more, right? So I've learned those things about me. That makes me so, and I like taking pictures and making sure that we have good pictures of our events and everything. So it matches up. I like it. I enjoy it. It gets me talking to all the groups instead of just staying with one group at one of our functions.
You wear your name tag at parties?
Our parties, no, our parties, no, no. I don't.
Okay, well,
Now, if I went to a chamber event all day long, if it was a more, like business event or something, all day long. It's gotta feel appropriate to the occasion. Feed everyone you meet, into your database. Let your fingers do the walking. Do you remember, in the last session, the yellow pages exercise? Who remembers yellow pages? Yeah, Oldie doesn't, of course not. Jocelyn doesn't.
Older.
Hold up. Okay, so we used to have big honking yellow pages and white pages because we couldn't get on the internet and look up everybody's information. And if we wanted a plumber or a painter or what have you, we went to the yellow pages. Under plumber and saw all of these plumber names. So I want you thinking about, again, to stretch yourself, think of an exercise like that. Am I thinking about all the different areas in which I really do know people, but I forgot this group or I forgot that group. So how many names, did anybody do that exercise? And how many names did you come up with names that you hadn't thought of? Okay, if you didn't do that exercise, I would highly recommend it. Because you've got to be thinking about and it's stretching yourself because you're not going to remember everybody. You're not. We just don't. And then how many of those names have you actually contacted? So that's the thing. Don't just look them up and say, oh yeah, I remember I've met that person or they did such and such for me. You've got to then contact them and let them know. Hold on. Going to the next page. Okay, here's what, this is such a cool exercise. How many people do you need in your database? A lot, says Threnody, a lot. So I want you all, now, if we do it based on like this right here, where we want the 36-12-3, 36 deals in 12 months, Legionning for 3 hours a day, that's what the title means. Then, and we say, do you remember what the ratio is in the MREA? For how many people in your database should you get one piece of business?
Wasn't it like 100 to 1?
No, that's for haven't mets. But yes, that you're remembering haven't mets. Serenity said 100 to 1. That's haven't mets.
Okay, then it was definitely less than 100.
Yes, it was. Significant.
24.
Okay. 6 to 1. Okay, now 6 to 1 or 12 to 2.
Oh,
6 to 1 or 12 to 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if we say 12 to 2, for every 12 people in your database, you should get 2 pieces of business, a referral or a piece of business or 2 referrals. Okay. If we do the 6 to 1, for every 6 people in your database, you should get 1 piece of business or a referral. Now that is the skilled, highly experienced agent. You guys are more like a 15 to 1. Maybe some of you are 20 to 1. Make sense? Because you're new. You don't know what you're doing yet. You haven't built and developed this database and these relationships, and you're not top of mind with all of these people yet. But you want to get to the 6 to 1 or 12 to 2. That's your goal. That's probably not where you're going to start out. However, doing this exercise, we're going to do the 12 to 2. So I want you writing in, and this is page 10 in the material, so you can write down from this how many you want to do. times 6. And what does that equal? So all of you do that, and then I want to know what your number is. Because then I want to say a little something extra about what your number comes out to be, about how many contacts in your MET database. We're not talking about strangers. We're just talking about the people in your database. So how many transactions do you want times 6 equals how many people you need in your database? Those at home, play along. Okay, what's that number?
216.
216, because you put 36 in there. Yeah. 60 transactions.
Oh, no. Wait, that-
How many
Okay.
transactions?
I was gonna do 8, but I moved it up to 10, so I'm gonna have.
10 times 6.
Yeah, it would be 60.
Mhm.
Okay, wait, so you're saying 60 houses? That was not what I was going for 10 houses?
Yeah, right. Equals 6. No,
You need 60 contacts. Yeah.
you need 60 contacts. Okay,
Did I do that?
Yeah. you did. It's just, here's what I'm gonna tell you. These numbers you're gonna come up with are probably not big enough for your database, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is just a minimum number.
Yeah.
So I also want, and they're doing a 12-2. Remember, or a 6-1, right? And you're not there. So double whatever your number was for how many contacts, double it. And then tell me what that number is. 120.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I wanna sell 10
Hun-
houses, I would times that by 6, to be 60, but because we're newer, it times that by 2.
and it's 2 things. Because you're newer, you're gonna times it times 2. And because our turnover rate in real estate right now has dropped from the historical average of 10 to 12% of the people you know will buy a house in the coming year. Last year it was 4%. So we need more people in our database. Well, and it's okay. It just means you need more people in your database because fewer of them are moving right now. And I'll tell you what, if you build a bigger database, then it'll weather any market. That's the other thing. That's why I don't like keeping a database too small. Some agents have curated their database to like 300 or 350. And in the last couple of years, they had a hard time, last year especially, it impacted those agents. Some of our most experienced agents were impacted because their database wasn't big enough for that drop in the return rate. Does that make sense? And they were shocked that they didn't hit their goals or exceed their goals like they're normally used to doing. It's because the market slowed and they didn't have a big enough. So that 350 times 4% was not getting them the same return that it did at the 10 and 12. Make sense? So that's why you've got to know, that's why I'm kind of a spoiler. You're going to say, oh, 60 is not bad. Now this means that you're communicating with them in a consistent and persistent manner. This means you're touching them no less than 36 times in a year. Otherwise, you won't get that return out of that number. Does that make sense? You can't just have the number and just wait for them to come. I'm waiting. Here they come, right? No, that's not going to happen. Okay. So if we go to, there are no limits. A consistent approach ensures a consistent return. Size matters. Size matters. The size of your database is going to matter. If you go to page 11, look at this. Now remember, I'm going to tell you, you need to double the size of this database, but we can statistically look at what kind of business you can be doing based on the size of your database, if you're doing the right things with it. Does that make sense? So don't tell me I got a database of 1,000. I have no business. That means you're not working your database in a consistent, persistent manner to get any return out. It just won't magically happen. And that's why the level of production can only be achieved when your target number of METs is completed on an 8x8 marketing plan and then an ongoing 30, they say 33, but remember it's 36 touch. And every 50 contacts you add to your database is a potential $60,000 gain, approximately. Whoa, we can quantify. Do you know how much I wish I'd known this kind of information when I was a new agent? I didn't know. I had not a clue. I just ran in like a chicken with her head cut off and just hoped I'd come across enough people. I didn't know how many people I should be talking to every week. I didn't know how many people I should have in my database. I was just shooting in the blind, hoping something good would happen. You all can actually know statistically what your business needs to look like, what you need to grow to in order to get to the income level you want to achieve. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. Now you just have to have the activities behind it so that you get that result, okay? Networking, if you build it, they will come. No, just saying I'm newly licensed is not enough. All businesses must drive their customers to them. Bruce Hardy on his network. Bruce Hardy moved to America. He's from Australia. He's the one who does the kangaroo logo for his business. We talked about it before. Has this amazing Australian accent. He didn't know anybody when he moved here. No one. But he put everyone in his database. He put them in an 8x8 and 33 touch. And he has a Met database of crazy number. Now he's a mega agent. You might not want to have that big of a business. That's okay. However, it just shows you the size of your database will be reflected in the size of your bank account. If you do the work. The number alone will not feed you. Okay? So let's scoot to the people who choose to do business. They know you, like you, respect you, and are going to remember you. It's not who you know, it's who knows you, meaning who remembers you. It's top of mind. And that only happens with repetitive messaging for them to think of you. So you must stay in touch to create mind share. Otherwise, how many days does it take them to forget you? 16 days and they'll forget you. You will be as if you didn't exist, especially if it's somebody you just met. Make sense? Okay, why is networking important? So that you're not on the roller coaster. We're going to start there. And here's your homework. Your homework is page 10 and page 27. I should have my homework. Where's my homework pages? Okay, I will post the homework on the Facebook page, but it is doing the exercise on page 10 and page 27. So that is on page 10. That is, how many do you need in your network? So we did that. If you didn't do it, I want you to do that so you have the number, play around with that number. And then page 27, no, it's won't be 27. Yeah, page 27 is you working on your 8x8. And on Thursday, what I'm going to do is coming up with your own custom 8x8. On Thursday, I'm also going to, I just finished an 8x8 for you all to use as an announcement 8x8.
Oh, looks like it kicked us. Or dropped her. All right. See you guys.
Yeah, I guess that's done with class. Have a
Yeah,
good
they
one.
dropped us.